Welcome to the American Prepping Academy. So today we're going to be talking about pandemic preparedness strategy. This video is a consolidation of some of the earlier lessons that I did on the topic, and my hope here is that this is a little bit more of a concise way to consume this information and hopefully share it with your friends and stuff like that, given the seriousness of the pandemic that we're currently facing. Okay, so in a nutshell, right up front, this is the 5 things that we want to be focused on when it comes to developing a pandemic preparedness strategy. First is awareness, then preparation, isolation, sanitation, and mitigation. We'll cover each one of these real quick. With awareness, basically what we're talking about here is you need to monitor the situation via reliable media sources. I'll leave that up to you to figure out what is a reliable media source to you. With all the fake news out there today, we'll just leave it at that. But the most important part about this one is actually conduct some research on your own. These links that I have right here are very credible, very good medical journal sites, and you can educate yourself to whatever degree you want on these sites. So you've got the New England Journal of Medicine, you've got the Journal of American Medical Association Network, you've got the Lancet, Elsevier, Cell.com, and Nature.com. All these sites have very good information on there about all different kinds of diseases and all that kind of thing. So I highly recommend taking a look at those and familiarizing yourself with the situation that you're most interested in. Okay, with preparation, you want to consider the possibility that you could have to self-quarantine for 30 days or longer. That is a very real possibility at this point. Okay, and let's see, the next thing here is you want to go ahead and add at least 30 days of food that you normally eat to your pantry. Okay, this way, if it doesn't turn out to be a serious situation, then it's no big deal, right? You just bought some food ahead of time. You can eat it and go back to your normal thing. All right, so add that food to your pantry. Have at least 30 days of drinking water on hand, or be able to gather water from a nearby water source and then be able to purify it. And I throw this in here just in case the utilities are interrupted. In a very bad situation where if you had a high percentage of people getting sick and not reporting to work, you could see some utility disruptions. Okay, the next one is withdraw some cash from the bank in case a panic causes a bank run and the ATMs run out of cash. I recommend being able to handle at least a month's worth of expenses with cash. Next thing is plan for entertainment. Self-quarantining can be boring. Reading books, maybe ordering a few new books, getting board games, new video games, what have you. Okay, the next thing here is make sure to get some advances on prescription medications if at all possible. Many times if you go to a doctor and you ask them to give you some additional prescriptions, they'll do that if you have a valid reason. Then the next thing here is, based on the research that you conduct, what we were talking about earlier, for whatever symptoms the disease has, go ahead and purchase some over-the-counter medications that'll help you be comfortable if you do get sick. Now, for this situation, it might be, with the coronavirus, it might be that you want to get some aspirin or some ibuprofen, possibly some cough syrup, elderberry syrup, those kinds of things, just stuff to make you a little bit more comfortable. You might also throw in there some Pedialyte, some Gatorade, to keep you hydrated and stuff like that. Okay, the next thing here is isolation. When you become aware of a pandemic, you need to start incrementally reducing your social interactions and increasing your social distance as it gets worse. My recommendation is not to go to large public gatherings. This would include concerts, parades, sports games, those types of things. Consider altering your travel or vacation plans, especially if you're planning on going to places like Disneyland, Disney World, places with a lot of people, those kinds of things. You might also consider taking your lunch instead of eating out, or order carry out instead of eating in restaurants if you don't want to cook at home. When you order groceries, use your online services where you can have the groceries delivered or pick them up on curbside. Also, don't invite your friends over to your home because you don't know what kind of practices they've been having as far as social distancing. And if they've just been to a big concert or something along those lines, then now you're more likely to get infected too. Next one is reduce time spent on hobbies and extracurricular activities for children and for adults as well. Okay, the next thing here is sanitation. This is going to be both personal sanitation as well as sanitation in your home. You want to make sure you cover those coughs and sneezes with the crook of your elbow, kind of coughing like that, as opposed to coughing into your hands, because then you're more likely to spread something if you had it and didn't know it. You want to stop shaking hands with people in public. You also want to wash your hands frequently for at least 20 seconds. That's singing Happy Birthday song twice. And you want to make sure you do this multiple times per day. Additionally, you want to clean the commonly used surfaces of your home with disinfectants that will kill the virus that you're concerned with. In many instances, a 10% bleach solution or Lysol will usually do the trick. Some common areas to make sure that you hit are doorknobs, countertops, sinks, nightstands, desks, tables, remote controls, cell phones, tablets, computer keyboards, and those kinds of things. Make sure you also assign individual hand towels in bathrooms and clean those daily. You also want to make sure you only use bath towels once. Towels are an excellent breeding ground for microbes and bacteria and those kinds of things. You want to also make sure you clean your vehicle dashboard, shifters, door handles, steering wheel, those kind of things in your vehicle as well. You can consider utilizing HEPA air filters in the home and use a high MERV value HVAC filter. But be careful because these filters, if they're too restrictive, especially on older HVAC systems, they can be very hard on them. You also want to make sure that once it starts getting bad, this would be a step that's a little bit later down the line. You want to make sure that you immediately remove your clothes and wash them when you get home. You also want to take a shower twice a day, once when you get home from work or school. Mitigation. Okay, this is when it's starting to get really serious. Once you see multiple cases within your state or county, it's time to begin serious mitigation efforts. Begin a full self-quarantine. Don't go into public unless it's absolutely necessary for survival. Also, cover your face when out in public. Cheap surgical masks are fine. You could also use a cravat or shamag. This is primarily to send a signal to other people that you want them to maintain their distance from you. It's basically just kind of saying, stay back. I'm sick or I don't want to get sick. Also, if you have to go to a place where there are known sick people, like a hospital, make sure you wear an N95 mask and goggles, or could even be, if it's bad enough, an NBC rated respirator or gas mask. All right, guys, so that's just been a quick look at a pandemic preparedness strategy, and the key points here that you want to remember for this are awareness, preparation, isolation, sanitation, and mitigation. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email at americanpreppingacademy@protonmail.com. Boom. Fix that on the spot. All right, thanks guys for watching. And as always, I definitely appreciate your support on Patreon. Without you guys, I probably wouldn't continue doing this at all. So thank you very much.